we had qualifiers, and we have a league. Plus a showdown that's actually well run. Thank you, JMR. I don't know why I don't have a clap animation. We got 16 teams to laugh at, leading to 4 teams to laugh at even harder. You already know how it goes. 2 points again, jumpers? 2 points again? You didn't even need 2. All you needed was 1 more point and you would have beat the Wisps on tiebreaker. Wanna know where that point came from? 1/100th of a second in Sand Rally. You should have gone back to the league to defend your top 5 finish, but instead you just... I swear to God, this team is gonna put me in the fucking ground. Jungle jumpers and missing out on the league by the thinnest of margins. A tale as old as time. At least they're in familiar territory. One day, they're gonna be on the right side of 2 points. Hazers country. Let's cry. This was inevitable after the announcement of block pushing and qualifiers. It didn't matter what the other events were, I knew you were cooked. Hazy came back as coach and immediately steered your team into a wall. The only haze amaze was the smoke after fireworks the night before. You honestly made this feel like 2022 all over again, with block pushing screwing you over in a year where relegation is back on the table. You better pray that block pushing isn't in the showdown, but I said that about qualifiers too. Murky even gave you a chance in Sand Rally, but came up less than a second short. It really was block pushing though. If it makes you feel better, this was your best result in this current iteration of block pushing. The pain only increases, the ride doesn't f***ing end.
Hazers country, let's ride.
Holy crap, the Indigo Stars found a way to out-Indigo Stars themselves. What could have, nay, should have been your springboard back into the main league turned into a choke job rivaling most of your qualifiers. You were in 4th place going into the final event. You had a 70% chance of qualifying. All Montoya needed to do was get points. They got points. Sandwiched between the 2 teams whose fates were already sealed and didn't need to try. That's the thing. It takes effort to tank this hard. If only you could have put this effort into keeping your standing. You dropped 11 spots. Told you should have gotten SHEDEUR Sanders. The Cleveland Browns are a poverty franchise, whereas your franchise is... never mind. I said that we should send you to hell, but now we're sending you to a place worse than hell. We're sending you to Galveston, Texas, with that dirty-ass water. Cancun is for teams who don't collapse this hard in the qualifiers. Figuring out the Chocolatiers is sometimes a crapshoot. Luckily for me, the Chocolatiers are sometimes crap. The Chocolatiers actually have a pretty decent enough record getting to the league. They looked like they were gonna get there after a silver in relay. They then followed that up with a 26th place finish in block pushing. But finishing 7th in swing wave let them hover at the cut line. Cue Captain Bonbon getting punched in the face repeatedly in Sand Rally and ruining your qualification chances. On the bright side, you've gotten an overall bronze and a silver in your last 2 showdown appearances. So maybe an overall gold is in your future. So glad the gliding Glaciers are back in the showdown. Mainly because I predicted they would, but also because they don't deserve to be in the main tournament. The Glaciers are gliding back to the showdown after 2 incredibly pathetic seasons in the Marble League. Relay went terrible for you, but you did get a bronze in swing wave. Just like the Chocolatiers, you were near the cut line with your captain needing a solid finish in Sand Rally to clinch a spot. Alpine completely failed. How did this team make an overall podium before? Upon reviewing qualifiers, it was actually pretty interesting to see how closely the Chalks and Glaciers mirrored each other. Maybe the Glaciers can mirror the Chocolatiers enough to find some showdown success. The Turtle Sliders find a way to keep sliding further and further down. When are we gonna get a good teal team? You needed a miracle to qualify because you always need a miracle to qualify. Relay and Wave weren't good for you, and Dash didn't really dash in Sand Rally. Come on, it's the Turtle Sliders. Were we really expecting anything else? Their chances were pretty much over as soon as they stepped onto the field. 6 straight DNQs. The oldest team to have never made the league. That's not gonna change for a while, is it? Welcome back to the Showdown, Cobalts. Honestly, it's not even a back to. You never leave. Seriously, you should be giving me the Grand Tour by now. The way you perform year in and year out makes it no surprise that you qualified?
Hold up.
And not even by the skin of your teeth. You qualified comfortably. Right, this is the fake out. Bring out the real team. Oh my god! Colonel Bogey is marching to the showdown. The Buffalo Bills train continues, but it's wide right. You suffer the same amount of being trash as the Hazers when it comes to block pushing and swing wave, but the speed events usually bail you out. The speed events did not bail you out. Mighty Casey has struck out, and it comes the year after a repeat title bid was squandered. Sounds familiar. But the Pinkies are actually good.
But the Pinkies are actually good.
Yeah, I can't believe I said that either. The Pinkies got on the Showdown podium last year, and I just don't see that in your future. We might have a champion relegated. Redeye completely carried you in Sand Rally because of course, but Green Eye and Cyan Eye f***ing sold in the wave. God, Redeye needs to leave. This would have been your best year for another title and you crapped it. You're welcome, by the way. I don't think I'm jinxing them or anything. How did the Shining Swarm ever make an overall podium? You had a great run in block pushing, but terrible runs in everything else. You were right on the edge of making it despite a 26th place finish in Relay. All Shimmer needed to do was get a solid finish in Sand Rally. Shimmer got 20th and ruined that slim chance you had. Sounds familiar. You didn't learn anything from last year's Showdown, did ya? You actually have to try to maintain your overall standing. Seems you were just too eager to go back to the Showdown to blow another lead. You've been relegated before, and you'll probably be relegated again. Sad awoos in chat. The pack got a terrible finish from the get-go, which practically set the tone for the rest of their day. They were completely out of sorts in the team events, but Remus tried their damnedest to save their season with a 4th place finish in Sand Rally. Pay the man right there! Lil Buddy got half of your points in qualifiers. Here's hoping the furries can find their way back to the league. Please don't get relegated, Wolfpack. We stan the furries on this channel. This is the section where I only talk about the Prockets for 15 seconds. Really, anytime I need to talk about them, I barely talk about them. I'm only telling you this to fill time for their section. That's how little there is to talk about them. The Prockets finished 22 out of 28 teams, which is pretty high considering these are the Prockets. Let's be real, I don't think anyone thought this team was going to qualify. Saucer is still a solid member of the team, even if they were mid in Sand Rally. At least they could go get another bronze in the Showdown. Again, nothing to talk about this team. Maybe get SHEDEUR Sanders. And here comes Team Plasma. Does anyone still believe in them? Has anyone even believed in them since 2022? Despite being meh, You had qualification in your reach after 3 events. All Ecto needed to do was not completely let you down in Sand Rally. Ecto completely let you down in Sand Rally. I mean, just look at how they competed in last year's Showdown. They didn't compete in last year's Showdown. Why did you put in an athlete that hadn't competed since last year's qualifiers? As a unit, Team Plasma is not looking like a unit. This might be their fate for a while. At least they'll have a chance to win the Showdown again. Isn't that what I said last year? The Rojo Rollers once again are Rojo rolling to the Showdown. True to Rojo Rollers' form, they were mid in qualifiers. Now, mid is good enough most years with sensible qualifying structures. I'd say you were a victim of the 60% DNQ rate, but we all know the real reason. The Bees made it. We simply cannot have you and the Bees in the same league. Though that swing wave score didn't help your case either. At least the Cat's Eyes are here, so Dose can punch Blue Eye in the face during triathlon. Please do it. It would be so funny. This is a prove-it year for the Solar Flares. So far, they've proved that they are a disastrously run organization. Holy sh*! Qualifiers could not have been worse for you. The 5-meter relay saw every team beat the previous record except for you. Absolutely disastrous handoffs there. You didn't fare much better in block pushing. You saved face in swing wave and rally, but only having 1 point halfway through all but doomed you back to the Showdown. Let me put it to you this way. You would have had 0 points in the first 2 qualifier events if the Hazers didn't exist. Do better in the Showdown, for God's sake. If there is block pushing, at least you're guaranteed 1 point.
That's right.
I legitimately forgot Team Primary was even here. The way they performed, I think they forgot they were here too. For what it's worth, they did get a solid finish in RNG Simulator, but that was before Rima girl-bossed her way to a bottom 5 finish in Sand Rally. Retract what I said about making her captain. How about SHEDEUR Sanders? This team is a collection of failed children, and they failed their way to 26th overall out of 28 teams. Your 7th missed league in the last 8 seasons. At least we get more prim in the Showdown? Maid dress time. Yes. The Blunderbolts are blunderful. Whereas most of these teams had Sand Rally as their worst result, the Bolts had Sand Rally as their best result, with a 14th place finish. Single-digit point hauls and everything, and then Captain Thunder finished literally in the middle of the pack. You are madly overdue for a change. The only time you sent an entire roster to Siberia was with the only athletes to do anything worth a damn in your history. Look at the Midnight Wisps. They should be relegated and instead made it back to the league with Twyla, Amaya. Wait, hold on, don't tell me, I'll learn their names eventually. 3 missed leagues in the last 4 years, with your last Marble League Gold coming in 2018. Yeah, I think it's high time for a Bolts roast video to happen. I knew the Minty Maniacs were trash, but good lord. How is this team almost a champion again? The only way you could have humiliated yourself even further from being a rodeo clown is setting the modern record for worst qualifier score. Sure, the Rojo Rollers have the all-time record in 2017, but that was when scoring made no damn sense. This scoring system does make damn sense, and you got 3 points per event. You were already out of contention after Swing Wave. Yes, scrubs. I'd say enjoy your second stint as a tester team, but JMR even outsourced that. I need a new punching bag with the Cobalts finally making it to the main tournament, And if the shoe fits, best believe it's going right where the sun don't shine. Sorry, that was a bit too mean. I'll dial it back. Let me say something nicer about you. Let me. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next upload or the live streams that will happen for each event during the season. And what a season this is shaping up to be. The Cobalts have qualified for the first time ever. There are now incoming 4th graders who have never seen the Cobalts in the Marble League. Okay, God, I fucking hate that. Every former champion is back in it, except the Cat's Eyes, who missed out for the first time ever. This leaves the Turtle Sliders and Purple Rockets as the only teams to have never qualified, and the Speeders, Razzies, and 2 of the former Hornets members on the Bumblebees to never see the showdown. All in all, this is a pretty stacked league, with the usual suspects in the showdown. Plus, since relegation is back on the table, here are my relegated team predictions. Spicy. Considering I went 12 for 16 on the showdown predictions, I actually have hope this will work. Though, sorry to these teams if it does work.
Yes, it's the Cobalts! For the first time ever! The Cobalts will be competing in the Marble League! How many years?